Hey everyone, this is Michael again, and welcome to the Extreme Rules review. Extreme Rules tonight was from the Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia, and the show just ended, and Extreme Rules, I thought it was a very good show tonight, in my opinion. Really enjoyed the show. The card looked very good. And we have Extreme Rules pay-per-view where there are stipulations to the matches. So overall, the show was very good. We had the Brawling Brutes. We had Butch, Ridge Holland, and Sheamus. They end up taking on Imperium, Giovanni Vinci, Ludwig Kaiser, and Gunther in a six-man tag team, good old-fashioned Donnybrook match. We also saw Liv Morgan versus Ronda Rousey in an Extreme Rules match where the Smackdown Women's Championship was on the line. We saw Karrion Kross versus Drew McIntyre in a strap match. The Raw Women's Championship was on the line in a ladder match. Bianca Belair defended the title against Bayley. We also saw a Night Quit match, Finn Balor versus Edge. And in the main event, we had the Fight Pit match between Matt Riddle and Seth Rollins. And we also got the return of Bray Wyatt as the White Rabbit. And I can't wait to talk about that. It was just a very great moment in the show. The crowd erupted like crazy when he came out. What a moment it was. But like I said, anyways, Extreme Rules was a very good show tonight. But let's jump right into the review. Extreme Rules opened up with the six-man tag team, good old-fashioned Donnybrook match. The Brawling Brutes, Sheamus, Butch, and Ridge Holland versus Imperium, Gunther, Giovanni Vinci, and Ludwig Kaiser. And this was a very good, entertaining match here. You know, once again, Sheamus and Gunther going at it. And they had their match last night on Smackdown, which was the main event, which was very enjoyable. And the match got underway with a brawl. Butch had Giovanni Vinci on the commentary table. Sheamus and Gunther brawled to the ringside area. Ridge Holland and Butch double-teamed on Ludwig Kaiser. Holland ended up putting Kaiser in the Tree of Woe. And Sheamus and Ridge Holland end up putting a shillelagh over Kaiser's throat. Butch then delivered a drop kick to Kaiser. So then Imperium ended up getting control of the match with the shillelagh. So Kaiser and Vinci end up clearing off the bar. And you had like these little like barrels out there. And you also saw like a picture of Sheamus's grandfather that was on the bar, to which Gunther destroyed. So we had Gunther, Kaiser, and Vinci. They ended up triple teaming on Sheamus. Ridge Holland and Butch were down on the other side of the ring. And all three members of Imperium whipped Sheamus into the ring steps. Butch ended up diving off the steps onto both Vinci and Kaiser. And they ended up falling into the LED barricade. And the barricade ended up breaking. So both Vinci and Kaiser end up knocking Butch out. Vinci and Kaiser end up holding Sheamus up. Gunther started loading on Sheamus' chest with some chops. And Sheamus' chest was beat red after those chops. because they end up slamming Sheamus onto the bar. So Imperium end up getting Ridge Holland and Butch in the ring, and Imperium end up just destroying both Holland and Butch. So Butch ended up fighting back. He ended up attacking Gunther. Kaiser ended up quickly stopping Butch. Vinci and Kaiser double teamed on Butch. Ridge Holland ended up grabbing Kaiser by the leg, and Ridge Holland ended up lifting both Kaiser and Vinci up, and he slammed both of them. Gunther ended up leveling Holland with the knee to his face. Ridge Holland was on the apron, so Vinci grabbed Holland. Kaiser ended up coming off the apron to give him the Imperium Bomb on the floor, which was crazy. That was a good spot there. So Butch was just left alone in the ring. And all three members of Imperium were there. Butch ended up trying to fight all three guys. He tried to fight Kaiser, Vinci, and Gunther. But they were just beating Butch down. Gunther put Butch on the top rope. He ended up stepping on his neck. Kaiser and Vinci ended up doing a double drop kick to Butch. Imperium then posed in the ring, and the crowd was booing the hell out of them. Imperium then started to go after Butch. Sheamus ended up flipping the bar at ringside, so Kaiser and Vinci ended up going after Sheamus. Sheamus sent both Kaiser and Vinci into the barricade. So Gunther then challenged Sheamus to get into the ring. So Sheamus and Gunther began brawling in the ring, and the crowd was loving it. Gunther then quickly hit Sheamus with a suplex, with a German suplex. Sheamus came right back up and delivered a clothesline to Gunther. Sheamus then ended up hitting a corner clothesline, and he whipped Gunther into the opposite corner. Gunther delivered a boot to Sheamus, and he ended up charging at him, but Sheamus quickly ended up dropping Gunther with a power slam. Gunther then rolled to the apron. Sheamus grabbed him, and the crowd popped loudly for Sheamus. Sheamus is so over with the crowd. Everybody is loving Sheamus. So Sheamus then starts to do the 10 beats of the Bottom to Gunther, and he delivered 10, and he went for 11, 12, all the way until Gunther went down. So Butch and Ridge Holland end up joining in. So he had a 3-on-1 assault to Gunther from Sheamus, Butch, and Ridge Holland. So Sheamus then lifted Gunther up to deliver the white noise, to which Sheamus then hit it. Sheamus ended up hitting Gunther with the bro kick, so he went for the cover, and Giovanni Vinci broke up the pin with a springboard splash from the top. So Vinci and Kaiser were back in the ring. They were going off on Ridge Holland and Butch. So they ended up going for the Imperium Bomb. Gunther then ended up hitting both Butch and Ridge Holland with a big drop kick. Sheamus then hit Gunther with the Irish Curse backbreaker, and he applied the cloverleaf. Gunther was screaming in pain. Vinci ended up breaking a shillelagh over Sheamus's back to break up the submission. Gunther ended up going for the cover, and Butch and Ridge Holland ended up breaking up the pin. So we had Ridge Holland and Butch. They began brawling with Vinci and Kaiser. Gunther and Sheamus ended up both getting back to their feet. They started trading some strikes. So you had all 6 guys get to their feet. Butch ended up charging, and Kaiser ended up slamming him. Ridge Holland ended up taking out Giovanni Vinci. Sheamus hit Gunther with the bro kick. Vinci and Kaiser pulled him out of the ring, and Kaiser and Vinci cleared off the commentary table. They were sent up to deliver the Imperium Bomb on Sheamus and put him through the table. Ridge Holland put a stop to that. Holland ended up slamming Kaiser into the apron, and then Kaiser and Vinci ended up double teaming on Ridge Holland. Butch ended up coming off a stack of barrels, and he delivered a moonsault to Kaiser and Vinci. So back in the ring, Gunther had a shillelagh in hand. He clotheslined Sheamus with the shillelagh. Gunther ended up going for the cover. Sheamus kicked out. Gunther was starting to get frustrated here. Gunther ended up going for a powerbomb to Sheamus, but Butch and Ridge Holland end up stopping that, and Butch end up breaking the fingers of Gunther's hands, and both Ridge Holland and Butch end up holding Gunther up. Sheamus end up decking Gunther in the head with the shillelagh. Ridge Holland and Butch both grabbed some shillelaghs, and they destroyed Kaiser and Vinci with them. So we had Sheamus, this spot here in the match. Sheamus delivered the Celtic Cross to Gunther. He put Gunther through the commentary table with the Celtic Cross, which was awesome. The crowd erupted at that. Sheamus ended up getting in the ring. Ridge Holland and Butch ended up holding Vinci up. And we had Sheamus delivering the Brogue Kick to Vinci. And he ended up going for the cover. And there you go. The Brawling Brutes ended up winning the match. Overall, this was a very entertaining, good match. All these guys gave it all they got. And it made for one hell of an entertaining match. And Sheamus is just so over with the crowd. You know, they're loving Sheamus and everything that he is doing. You know, I'm loving this Sheamus and Gunther feud here. So, but overall, entertaining, good match. And then we saw The Miz was backstage. Megan Moran ended up stopping The Miz. She ended up telling him that she's surprised to see The Miz after what happened with Dexter Lumis. The Miz ended up saying that he's here because of he who shall not be named, aka Dexter Lumis. He ended up saying that Dexter Lumis wants to ruin his birthday party, which Maurice will be hosting Monday on Raw, which I will be there. I will be at Barclays Center for Raw on Monday. And it sucks for me because I got to sit through this fucking Shea segment. I know it's going to be fucking shitty. So The Miz removed his glasses. And he looked shocked by something. So The Miz ended up seeing the mascot of the Philadelphia Flyers, Gritty. And it was dancing around. Gritty ended up giving The Miz a t-shirt. Miz dropped the shirt on the floor, started stomping away on it. And pretty much that was basically that. I don't care anymore about this Miz and Dexter Lumis feud. We still got no answer as to why Dexter Lumis is going after The Miz. I just don't care no more. I really don't. And then we had the Extreme Rules match for the Smackdown Women's Championship. Ronda Rousey versus Liv Morgan. This match was not good. This match was sloppy. It was uninteresting. And the crowd did not even give a shit about what was going on in the match. Before going into this match, we all knew that Liv Morgan was going to lose the SmackDown Women's Championship and the title was going to go back on Ronda, which was the case here. So the match ended up starting. Ronda quickly took Liv Morgan down. We had, as Liv Morgan came out, she had the baseball bat in hand that we saw last week on SmackDown. So Ronda easily took Liv Morgan down with her armbar, but Liv Morgan ended up fighting out of it. Liv Morgan ended up pulling Ronda down by her hair. She ended up going for the cover, and Ronda kicked out at one. Liv Morgan went over to the corner and grabbed the bat, and Ronda quickly took the bat away from Liv Morgan. She threw the bat out of the ring. Ronda was now taunting the crowd, and she ended up kneeing Morgan in the face, and she applied the ankle lock. Morgan ended up getting to the ropes, and she knocked Ronda out of the ring. Liv Morgan ended up going for the baseball slide, but Ronda ended up catching Liv Morgan locked her in the apron, started punching away at her. Ronda then slapped Liv in the face. Ronda then grabbed the bat, and the crowd started booing her. Ronda ended up grabbing Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan then sprayed Ronda with the fire extinguisher. She ended up spraying the fire extinguisher in Ronda's face. Liv Morgan ended up going to attack Ronda with the bat, but Ronda ended up hitting a slam to Liv Morgan on the floor, which looked brutal. Ronda recovered and hit Liv Morgan in her ribs with the bat, and she ended up leaping off the steps. Ronda then ended up attacking Liv Morgan with the baseball bat, and she ended up getting her in the ring. Liv Morgan ended up attacking Ronda, started beating Ronda down with the bat. Ronda ended up throwing her ring jacket into Liv Morgan's face and ended up smacking her with her black belt. She ended up smacking Liv Morgan with her black belt a few times because Ronda came out. She was wearing, her black belt, very karate-like. So Ronda ended up tying Liv Morgan into the ring post, ended up smashing her with the bat. Liv Morgan ended up grabbing Ronda, ended up slamming her onto the apron. She ended up grabbing a table from underneath the ring, and Liv Morgan ended up putting the table in the ring. Liv Morgan then ended up leaving the table in the corner, and Ronda ended up attacking Liv. Ronda then ended up smashing Liv's face off the table a few times, and she delivered a knee to Liv's face. Ronda then started choking Liv on the ropes, and both women end up falling out of the ring. Liv Morgan ended up hitting Ronda with a chair, and she ended up wedging the chair in the corner. And they ended up botching the spot because the chair ended up falling out of the ring. Liv Morgan then ended up going to catapult Ronda into the corner without the chair being there, and that got botched also. So Ronda ended up hitting the ring post. Liv Morgan ended up going for a cover, and Ronda kicked out too. Liv Morgan ended up grabbing a chair from ringside, started beating Ronda down with the chair. Liv Morgan then hit the code breaker with the chair, and she ended up going for the cover, and Ronda ended up kicking out. So Liv ended up setting up the table. She ended up putting Ronda on top of it. Liv Morgan ended up heading up to the top rope, and she delivered a senton splash to Ronda through the table. Liv ended up going for the cover, and Ronda ended up kicking out. Ronda ended up immediately grabbing Liv's arm to apply the armbar, but Liv Morgan was fighting out of it. Liv Morgan ended up lifting Ronda up, ended up slamming her onto the table, and she ended up going for the cover, and Ronda ended up kicking out. So Ronda started choking Liv Morgan out, and Liv Morgan ended up passing out, and when she passed out, you saw her smiling a bit. Liv Morgan was smiling like this, and then she faded. So the referee called for the bell, and so there you go. Ronda ended up winning the match. Ronda is the new SmackDown Women's Champion. That was basically that. But overall, this match was not good. So uninteresting, so sloppy. The botch with the chair. There were botches here. Wasn't that good of a match. And we all knew that Liv Morgan was going to lose the title. We all knew that the title was going back on Ronda. And then we had Drew McIntyre versus Karrion Kross in a strap match. This match was okay. It was a little slow, in my opinion. So we had Karrion Kross come out. He had, of course, the screen was in black and white. Fall and pray. But it was awesome. Drew McIntyre came out first, and then Karrion Kross. And it's been a long while since we've seen a strap match. So the ref ended up putting the strap on McIntyre's wrist. Karrion Kross refused to put the strap on, and he threw it aside. Karrion Kross was just making Drew McIntyre wait. Scarlett then grabbed the other end of the strap, and she ended up pulling on the strap to distract McIntyre. Karrion Kross ended up attacking McIntyre, ended up knocking him to ringside. Kross ended up hitting McIntyre with the strap, and they brawled into the crowd. So McIntyre ended up coming back, started just beating down on Kross. Kross attacked McIntyre, ended up knocking him down to ringside, and the match did not even start at all. So they were just going at it. The bell didn't even ring, and the match wouldn't start until Kross put the strap on his wrist. So Kross ended up going to suplex McIntyre onto the ring steps, but McIntyre blocked it. McIntyre ended up delivering a suplex to Kross on the floor. McIntyre then bounced Kross off the commentary table, and then he went over, he bounced Kross off of the ring steps. McIntyre ended up knocking Kross into the ring post, and he climbed the steps with Kross. McIntyre leapt off the ring steps and slammed Kross onto the apron. McIntyre ended up getting Kross in the ring, and he put the other end of the strap on Kross's wrist, and the match officially began. So McIntyre ended up beating Kross with the strap, and he ended up knocking him out to ringside. McIntyre started alone with some strikes. Scarlett stood in McIntyre's way to stop him from hitting Kross with the strap some more. But geez, when McIntyre was whipping Kross with the strap to his back, it was just very loud. Like, watching it, you could imagine if you were hit like that with the strap, you'd be like, oh, like that. It was very vicious hits with the strap from McIntyre to Kross. So Kross ended up using the strap to pull McIntyre's shoulder first into the ring post. So Kross kept on doing it, laying, McIntyre goes shoulder first into the ring post. Kross ended up hitting an arm breaker, and he continued to take down McIntyre. McIntyre ended up delivering a chop to Kross, but Kross ended up grabbing McIntyre for the Kross jacket. McIntyre fought out of it. Kross ended up smacking McIntyre in the chest with the strap. So Kross pulled McIntyre out of the ring, and he delivered a flatliner to McIntyre on the commentary table. Kross ended up tying McIntyre around the ring post with the strap, started smacking his back with the strap. Kross beat McIntyre down, and he posed with Scarlett. Kross got into the ring, he pulled McIntyre back in the ring by the strap. Kross ended up hitting the Doomsday Saito to McIntyre. He ended up going for the cover. McIntyre ended up kicking out. Kross ended up taking a few minutes before beating McIntyre down with the strap. McIntyre fought back. He ended up taking Kross down with some clotheslines, and he ended up delivering a belly-to-belly suplex to Kross. McIntyre connected with a neck breaker to Kross, and he kicked up. McIntyre ended up going for the Future Shock DDT. Kross ended up powering McIntyre into the corner. McIntyre came back and delivered a spine buster to Kross and a jackknife pin, and Kross ended up kicking out. So McIntyre connected with a Future Shock DDT to Kross, and he ended up kipping up again. McIntyre ended up going for the corner, started counting down, the 3, 2, 1 for him to hit the Claymore to Kross. But Scarlett got between McIntyre and Kross. Scarlett ended up blinding McIntyre with pepper spray. She ended up spraying pepper spray at McIntyre. And that led to Kross hitting the cross hammer to McIntyre, going for the cover. And there you go. Karrion Kross ended up winning the match. Overall, the match was okay. A little slow, but it wasn't that bad of a match. And then we had The Miz. The Miz was talking to Maurice on the phone backstage, and Gritty ended up interrupting The Miz. The Flyers mascot. So The Miz ended up yelling at Gritty, and he ended up leaving. Pretty much that was basically that. And then we had the ladder match for the Raw Women's Championship. Bayley versus Bianca Belair. And this was a solid women's ladder match here. Nikita Lyons was present at Extreme Rules. Nikita Lyons is, of course, from NXT. She was sitting ringside. So we had Bayley end up coming out, and then Bianca Belair. Match ended up starting. Bianca Belair ended up attacking Bayley. They ended up taking each other out with some cross body blocks. Bayley went to the outside. She put a ladder in the ring. Bianca ended up grabbing the ladder. She ended up putting the ladder in the ring as well. So we had two ladders in the ring. Bayley set up the ladder. She started to climb it. And the ladder was too short. So Bianca ended up bringing a bigger ladder in. So Bianca started to climb the ladder. Bayley ended up getting off Bianca. She ended up knocking her down. And, of course, they end up getting in a tug of war over the ladder that Bayley ended up bringing in. Bianca pushed Bayley out of the ring. Bayley ended up grabbing Bianca, but Bianca ended up knocking Bayley down. So Bayley ended up sending Bianca into a ladder that was leaning against the ring, and she clotheslined her on the floor. Bayley repositioned the ladder, leaning on the apron. She ended up catapulting Bianca onto the ladder. Bianca then used the ladder to quickly get in the ring. She started climbing the ladder to reach for the Raw Women's Championship. But Bayley quickly pulled Bianca down, and she whipped Bianca into the corner. Bianca ended up doing a backflip over Bayley, and she ended up going back to the ladder, and Bayley ended up stopping Bianca. Bianca ended up leaping over Bayley. She ended up pushing her hard into the ladder. Bianca ended up laying the ladder on the mat, and she slammed Bayley onto the ladder. And then Bianca ended up hitting a handspring standing moonsault to Bayley on the ladder, which that looked like it had to hurt both women. So Bianca then ended up getting another ladder into the ring. Bayley ended up quickly driving the ladder into Bianca's midsection. Bayley had Bianca wedged into the corner, started punching her down. Bayley then ended up hitting Bianca with a sunset flip powerbomb onto the ladder, which was leaning in the corner. Bayley then set the ladder up. She started to climb it. Bianca climbed the ladder, ended up pulling Bayley down. Bayley ended up knocking Bianca back, and she ended up driving the ladder into Bianca. Bayley ended up using the ladder to push Bianca out of the ring. So Bayley then set up the ladder, for a bridge, the ladder bridge from the steps to the barricade. So always in a ladder match, there's always that one spot where they gotta have the ladder and make it like a bridge. So Bayley ended up laying Bianca on the ladder. She grabbed a fan's sign, and she started making fun of the sign. Bayley leapt off the apron. She ended up crushing Bianca with an elbow drop, which was crazy. Bayley ended up taking a small ladder, and she ended up breaking the supports off of the ladder. Bayley ended up going to sandwich Bianca on the ladder, but Bianca ended up escaping, and the ladder ended up breaking in two. Bianca ended up smashing it onto Bayley's back, and Bianca ended up getting in the ring. She set the ladder up. She started to climb it. Bayley pulled Bianca down. Bayley ended up climbing, and Bianca ended up grabbing Bayley, hit the spine buster, and then Bianca started to climb back up the ladder. Bayley ended up kicking over the ladder and knocked Bianca out of the ring. So Bayley ended up breaking off the metal hinge from her knee brace. Bayley ended up charging at Bianca. Bianca sidestepped Bayley, and she ended up hitting the KOD to Bayley. She set the ladder up. Bianca started to climb the ladder. And then, of course, you knew at some point that Io Sky and Dakota Kai were going to come out, to which they did here. So Io and Dakota, they end up running down. They end up knocking the ladder over with Bianca on it. Dakota and Io end up double teaming on Bianca. Io ended up going up to the top rope, but Bianca ended up fighting back. Bianca managed to hit both Io and Dakota Kai with the KOD. So she delivered the KOD to both Io and Dakota. So Bianca started to set up the ladder. Bayley ended up taking a side of the broken ladder and threw it at Bianca's spine. Bayley managed to wedge the broken ladder in the corner, and she ended up knocking Bianca into the corner. Bayley then hit the rose plant on Bianca and trapped her under the ladder. Bayley started to climb the ladder, and Bianca managed to press the ladder up, and that knocked Bayley down to the canvas. Bianca ended up sending the ladder up. They both started climbing it, both her and Bayley, and they were brawling at the top. Bayley grabbed Bianca's braid, and she pulled Bianca into the ladder to knock her down. Bayley reached for the Royal Women's Championship. Bianca ended up quickly getting to her feet, and she ended up smacking Bayley with her braid. And that knocked Bayley off the ladder. So Bianca lifted Bayley up for the KOD. Bayley then grabbed the broken ladder to hit Bianca with it. So Bianca hit Bayley with the KOD onto the broken ladder. And when Bianca hit the KOD to Bayley on the broken ladder, Bayley's mouth looked like it connected with the ladder. Like the ladder hit Bayley in the mouth. So that had to hurt there. That really had to hurt Bayley there. So Bianca climbed the ladder, and she retrieved the Royal Women's Championship. So there you go. Bianca Belair won the match, retained the title. But overall, this was a solid, entertaining women's ladder match. You know, I thought that Bayley was going to win the Royal Women's Championship, so all of Damage Control would have titles on them. But unfortunately, that wasn't the case. And then we had the I Quit match, Edge versus Finn Balor. And this was, a good match here. Finn Balor ended up coming out. It was a remixed version of his old song, and he came out wearing a face mask with spikes on it. And I'm like, when he came out wearing that mask, I'm like, what the fuck is this? What the fuck kind of mask was Balor wearing? I swear to you, it almost looked like Balor was wearing a disco ball on his face with that mask. But of course, Edge came out, got a big pop from the crowd. The match started. Edge ended up powering Balor to the corner before beating him down. Edge clotheslined Balor down and ended up delivering a swinging neck breaker. Edge started punching away at Balor. Balor stumbled to the corner, and Edge ended up whipping Balor into another corner. Balor ended up collapsing down to the mat. And the one thing I gotta say about this match, Michael Cole. Michael Cole's commentary was great in this match. He wasn't coming off like a robot, and he was given his thoughts on what he was seeing in the match, because of course later on, you were going to have Damian Priest and Dominic and Rhea Ripley out there. But I'll get to Michael Cole and his thoughts were later on when Rhea Ripley, Dominic, and Damian Priest were out there. So Edge started ripping away at Balor's face. Balor wouldn't quit because, of course, the referee's job in the match is to hold the mic at two of the superstars to see if they say "I quit." So Edge ended up forearming Balor in the face. Balor stumbled away. Edge ended up whipping Balor into the corner, started talking some trash to him, slapping Balor in the face. So Balor ended up delivering a drop kick to Edge's knees, which Edge's knees have been targeted by Judgment Day over the past month. So Balor started stomping away at Edge's knee. He ended up leaping on it. Balor then twisted Edge's knee around the ropes, and Edge wasn't going to quit. Balor ended up taking Edge down, applied a leg lock. Edge refused to give up, started punching Balor. Balor ended up quickly sweeping Edge's feet and applied the figure four. Edge was screaming in pain, and Edge knocked the ref's mic away from his face. Edge then stood up, and he turned over to reverse the figure four, the pressure on the figure four. Balor then was screaming in pain. And then Balor turned Edge back over to keep the pressure on him. And Edge just ended up punching out of the figure four. So Balor ended up rolling out of the ring to recover. He pulled the apron skirt to trap Edge. Balor started beating him down. Edge still refused to quit. Balor then continued to attack Edge, and then Edge ended up sending Balor into the ring post. Balor ended up countering back with a sling blade on the floor to Edge. Balor ended up pulling Edge to his feet. Edge ended up lifting him and ended up driving him through the barricade. So Edge started punching away at Balor over the barricade. They were brawling into the crowd, and they were fighting by the kickoff show set. Balor was begging Edge off, but Edge was just standing over him, started punching away. Edge hit a suplex to Balor on the concrete floor. So the ref ended up asking Balor if he'll quit. Balor ended up saying, "Never." Edge ended up grabbing a hockey stick backstage. Edge ended up driving the hockey stick into Balor, and he ended up applying the Glasgow smile with the hockey stick to Balor. So the referee ended up asking Balor if he'll quit. So Balor did not quit. Edge ended up releasing Balor. Balor started to retreat. Edge ended up chasing after Balor, and they were fighting up the steps of the Wells Fargo Center. And there was an entranceway. Balor ended up slamming Edge into the walls of the entranceway a few times, and Edge wouldn't quit. Balor then ended up charging. Edge ended up giving him a flapjack into the concrete overhang, and the entranceway was shown full of fans from the concession stands, and Edge ended up looking out into the Wells Fargo Center. Edge was going for a spear. Balor sidestepped Edge, and he ended up sending him first into the metal railing. So Edge started stumbling away. Balor ended up choking Edge on the metal railing. So Balor then hit Edge in the ribs with a chair. Balor started chomping away at Edge. And Edge ended up going over the barricade. Balor ended up going under the ring to look for a weapon. Balor then kicked Edge. He ended up going back under the ring and retrieved a chair. Balor ended up hitting Edge in the ribs with the chair, and he stumbled into the ring. So the referee was checking on Edge. Edge ended up saying, "Screw you, Finn." So Balor started unloading on Edge's back with some chair shots. The referee ended up checking again, Edge ended up saying, "I don't quit." So Balor was furious. He ended up wedging the chair in the corner, started chopping at Edge's chest. Edge blocked a whip by Balor, but Balor ended up hitting a side leg sweep and applied the Rings of Saturn to Edge. Edge refused to quit once again. So we had Damian Priest end up running down. And then this is where Michael Cole ends up selling the hell out of commentary. Because when Damian Priest was out there, he's like, "Oh, we all want to know how long it took this idiot to come out here." Or something in the lines of that. But Michael Cole called Damian Priest an idiot. So Edge ended up quickly attacking Damian Priest. He ended up clotheslining Priest out of the ring. Edge lifted Balor up. And Dominic ended up pulling him out to ringside. Edge then speared Balor off the apron onto Priest and Dominic, which was crazy. Edge ended up getting Balor in the ring. And the crowd was fired up there. Edge started stalking Balor. Rhea Ripley appeared. And Rhea Ripley handcuffed Edge to the top rope. And she ended up waving the key at Edge. Waving the handcuff key at Edge. So she had her hands on the key. So Edge ended up looking concerned. And the rest of Judgment Day got into the ring. Edge ended up trying to fight Priest and Dominic off. And they started triple teaming. Damian Priest, Dominic, and Rhea Ripley started triple teaming on Edge. Balor ended up going under the ring. Ended up grabbing some kendo sticks. Balor ended up smiling before he ended up smacking Edge in the spine with the kendo stick. So Rey Mysterio ran down. And Damian Priest ended up hitting Rey with a chair. Rey got into the ring, ended up hitting Balor with a springboard crossbody. Then Rey ended up hitting Priest with the 619. Dominic then ended up laying out his own father, knocking him off the apron. And Michael Cole was like, "Oh, Dominic just knocked his father off the apron." He was like, "How could you do that to your own father?" So Michael Cole was just selling the hell out of what he was seeing on commentary, his reaction to what was going on there. Dominic then ended up grabbing Rey's arm, started stomping on his face a few times. So Balor ended up hitting Edge in the leg with some kendo sticks. And all of a sudden, we saw Beth Phoenix, Edge's wife. She got into the ring. She took the kendo stick from Balor. Beth Phoenix ended up hitting Balor with the kendo stick. And she ended up laying out Damian Priest with the kendo stick as well. Dominic cowardly ran away. So Rhea Ripley was behind Beth Phoenix. Beth Phoenix turned around. She saw Rhea. And Beth Phoenix ended up challenging Rhea Ripley. And they began brawling. Both Beth Phoenix and Rhea Ripley started brawling. Got a huge reaction from the crowd. They were going nuts. Rhea Ripley ended up pushing Beth Phoenix off. Phoenix came back and delivered a spear. A great spear to Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley then rolled out of the ring as Dominic started checking on her. Beth Phoenix had the handcuff key, and she ended up unlocking her husband's arm from the top rope. Edge immediately ended up hitting Damian Priest with the spear. Edge ended up turning, and he saw Dominic. Dominic tried to beg Edge off, and he was offering Edge a handshake because Dominic was like freaked out. He was like, "Oh, no. So we had Edge end up kicking Dominic in the nuts, and Edge ended up turning into a sling blade from Balor. Balor ended up sizing Edge up and charged at him, but Edge ended up hitting Balor with a spear. Edge then hit a second spear to Balor and the crowd was going nuts. The crowd was on fire. Edge ended up pinning a third spear to Balor. Edge directed his wife, Beth Phoenix, to get a chair. Edge ended up breaking off the support pipe from the chair, and he applied the Glasgow smile to Balor. Rhea Ripley quickly ended up attacking Beth Phoenix to distract Edge, and Rhea Ripley knocked out Beth Phoenix with some brass knucks. Priest ended up hitting Edge with the South of Heaven, and then Balor ended up hitting Edge with not one, not two, but three coup de grace. Balor ended up asking Edge if he'll quit, and Balor ended up warning Edge that this is his last chance. Edge ended up saying to Balor, "Go to hell." So, Judgment Day ended up looking at Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley ended up approaching Beth Phoenix, who was unconscious from the brass knucks from Rhea Ripley. So Balor, Damian Priest, and Dominic ended up holding Edge up. Rhea Ripley ended up grabbing some chairs, and she ended up teasing a concerto to Beth Phoenix. So Edge then ended up saying, "I quit." So Edge ended up saving his wife, of course. So because of that, Balor ended up winning the match. So post-match, Edge was whimpering as Rhea Ripley continued to threaten to hit the concerto to Beth Phoenix. And then Rhea Ripley ended up doing it. Rhea Ripley ended up hitting Beth Phoenix with the concerto. Judgment Day ended up running off. Edge was checking in on his wife. And pretty much that was basically that. But Michael Cole was just great here at this point, in the match when Damian Priest and Dominic and Rhea Ripley came out. Michael Cole's commentary was absolutely great. With him reacting to what he was seeing there. Overall, this was a good match here. And then we saw The Miz. The Miz was outside of Triple H's office, and once again, The Miz got interrupted by Gritty. Gritty ended up giving The Miz the shirt again. Miz ended up attacking Gritty. He was talking some trash. Miz ended up realizing that Dexter Lumis was standing behind him. Dexter Lumis ended up grabbing The Miz, put him to sleep. Lumis looked down at Gritty, ended up helping Gritty up, and Miz ended up coming to. Gritty ended up kicking Miz in the ribs, and Gritty ended up walking off with Dexter Lumis, and pretty much that was basically that. So, I don't care anymore about this Dexter Lumis and Miz feud. Still, no explanation as to why Dexter Lumis is attacking The Miz. 6 weeks in, and still no explanation. Please, give us an explanation as to why Dexter Lumis is attacking The Miz and kidnapping The Miz. There's nothing. No explanation. Main event. The Fight Pit match. Matt Riddle versus Seth Rollins. Special guest referee of the match was Daniel Cormier, UFC Hall of Famer. So, the Fight Pit match, we have, the structure hanging above the ring. There's no ring ropes for a Fight Pit match. The ring ropes have been removed. There's no door to the Fight Pit. It's not like, a steel cage match where you could escape the cage, by going out of there or climbing the cage. There's no cage door in a Fight Pit match. But this was a very good match here. So the match ended up starting. We had both Riddle and Rollins end up sizing each other up. Riddle ended up getting a quick jab to Rollins' ribs. Riddle ended up delivering some kicks to Rollins. Rollins hit the cage wall. and Riddle ended up kicking Rollins back, slammed him down. Rollins ended up fighting Riddle off. Riddle ended up quickly kicking Rollins in the head. And Riddle started punching away at Rollins, and he swatted Daniel Cormier away. Cormier ended up grabbing Riddle, ended up throwing him off. Rollins ended up quickly attacking Riddle from behind, started stomping away at him. Rollins ended up going for a German suplex, but Riddle ended up flipping through, and he ended up going for the triangle choke to Rollins. Rollins ended up digging his thumb into Matt Riddle's eyes, and he sent Riddle into the cage wall. Cormier then checked on Riddle. Rollins started pushing him away. Rollins started stomping at Riddle. Cormier ended up backing Rollins up. Cormier had Rollins by the neck, started warning him not to touch him. So Riddle started attacking Rollins. Rollins immediately took Riddle down. Rollins ended up driving Riddle's face into the cage wall, started raking his face. Rollins ended up hitting a rolling forearm before hitting an elbow to the back of Riddle's neck. So Riddle ended up getting out of a slam. Rollins ended up elbowing him in the head. Rollins started hitting a pair of super kicks to Riddle. Rollins ended up attacking, and Riddle ended up getting up to his feet. You had at one point where Riddle delivered the floating bro from the top of the pit onto Rollins, which was great. So Riddle later on ended up getting Rollins in the electric chair. Rollins ended up grabbing the cage. He climbed to the platform surrounding the fight pit. Rollins ended up getting the crowd to sing to his song. Riddle started to climb, and Rollins ended up attacking him. Riddle was holding onto a chain to keep himself from falling down to the mat below. So Riddle soon ended up grabbing Rollins with a sleeper while holding on to the chain. And Rollins ended up pulling Riddle onto the platform. And Rollins started smashing Riddle's face into the cage wall a few times. Riddle ended up going for the guillotine. Rollins countered. He walked across the platform with Riddle on his shoulders. And he ended up hitting the buckle bomb into the cage wall. So Riddle ended up going for an attack on Rollins, but he was nearly sent down to the canvas. Rollins ended up hitting Riddle with the pedigree on the platform, which was crazy. And somehow later on in the match, both men got to their feet as Riddle ended up hitting the floating bro from the top, from the platform to Rollins. So Riddle ended up going for the triangle choke. Rollins started fighting it off. He ended up slamming Riddle onto the cage wall twice. Rollins ended up slamming Riddle, but Riddle kept the triangle choke applied. So Rollins tapped out. So there you go. Matt Riddle ended up winning the match. Overall, this was a very good match, very good main event. And then you had that WWE trademark on the left side of the screen thinking, oh, we're not going to get Bray Wyatt tonight. Oh, we're in for a huge disappointment. But then the lights went out in the arena. And all we hear is he's got the whole world in his hands. So the crowd just erupted loudly. It was a great reaction from the crowd. Memorable, in my opinion. So the whole Wells Fargo Center was lit up with cell phone lights. And there was a person dressed as Huskus the Pig. And another person was dressed as Mercy the Buzzard, which was shown. And then we saw a full-size Rambling Rabbit was shown. And there was a haunted version of Abby the Witch being shown. And we see a decapitated head that was shown on the commentary table. Michael Cole and Corey Graves end up retreating, and they were like, "What is that?" When they saw the decapitated head shown on the table. Michael Cole and Corey Graves on commentary retreated. They were like, "Oh, what is that?" When they saw the decapitated head shown on the commentary table. And all of a sudden, we saw the Fiend being shown. And a door was shown. And looked like it was the door of the Firefly Funhouse. And we were in the Firefly Funhouse. And the Firefly Funhouse looked like it had been abandoned for a while. The puppets were shown covered in cobwebs. And we heard the Firefly Funhouse song play, but it was a very distorted version of it. And a new mask was shown and said, "Who killed the world? You did." So we saw the door, and the light was being shown from the door, from the corners of the door. The door kicks open, and the crowd erupted very loudly. So then we saw a person holding a lantern and walked out. This person walked out. There was a huge reaction from the crowd, and this person was wearing a mask, and it was a nice looking badass mask. So the person takes off the mask, and it is Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt took off the mask, and he blew out the lantern. And that was how Extreme Rules ended. Overall, I loved this. This was perfectly done for Bray Wyatt. This was a great return from him. The crowd was just absolutely amazing during this whole thing. And WWE did it perfect for him. Did it perfect for Bray Wyatt. So just loved it. Just a memorable moment. With Bray Wyatt returning, having a new mask, and the crowd erupting and loving what they were seeing. Just made for a memorable moment. But we all knew it was going to be, Bray Wyatt returning. We all knew that, he was the White Rabbit. Overall, I said, loved this whole return for Bray Wyatt. It was brilliantly, perfectly done. But anyways, that's it for the Extreme Rules review. Thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed this review. Give the video a thumbs up, comment, subscribe. And the next video will be my vlog from Comic-Con, from New York Comic-Con, which I went to on Friday, because basically you're probably all seeing this review Sunday. So as I'm finishing the video, it's early Sunday morning now. So, but that's the next video, so hope you all enjoy it. And after that, after the New York Comic-Con vlog, it will be my vlog from Monday Night Raw. So, but see you all later.